Future Gohan, the lost hope and last original Z fighter. The one who probably suffered the most in all of Dragon Ball. Not only did he lose his arm, but he directly saw with his own eyes all his family and friends die one by one. His father, his mentor, all gone. And later in the story, with pure rage, he tried to make an end to everything. But revenge took over his mind, which makes him lose his only life, leaving a small young boy with purple hair, the son of an extreme warrior, to fix everything. Everything he wasn't able to do. Let's break down the story so you guys can follow me, right? It all started with the death of Goku. After the hot virus take over his body, Goku dies a natural death, said to be unrevivable by the Dragon Balls. At the time, no one came from the future to give him the medicine to fight the virus. Here comes the second disaster, the arrival of androids 17 and 18. In this future, they are far more sadistic, openly destroying cities for fun and killing civilians at will. Without Goku, not even Vegeta, Gohan, Piccolo, Tien, Yamcha or Krillin stood a chance against foes far superior to a Super Saiyan. They were all brutally killed by the androids. Only young Gohan managed to survive. At the time of the first fight, Trunks was still a baby. Years passed, with Gohan as Earth-only fighter, he becomes a mentor to a young Trunks, Bulma's son with Vegeta, training him in martial arts and ki control. The android's reign of terror continues. Cities are wiped out, the population dwindles, and Gohan is constantly fighting to protect people. After some back and forth, Gohan brutally loses an arm in battle against the androids, limiting him to only one arm. Despite this, he keeps training Trunks and still goes out to fight, showing just how far his determination goes. One day, Gohan and Trunks plan to face the androids together. But Gohan knocks Trunks unconscious before the fight, likely to save him from certain death, and goes alone, solo to revenge the death of his friends. However, he was totally outnumbered and overpowered. Gohan is killed in battle. His death is shown with his body laying in the rain. When Trunks finds him, it's already too late. With no senzu beans left, Trunks can only watch his last friend's body, empty from the soul it once had. With Gohan gone, Trunks becomes the last hope. I literally cried when I first saw this on the television as a kid. Seeing the soulless face of Gohan really broke me. And then, we all know how the story goes. While this is the saddest moment in Dragon Ball, looking back now, I realize a lot of time gaps happened between fights. So how did Gohan still lose with all that time he had? We're killing this for now. Future Gohan lived every second of the story. From the first fight against the android with the Z fighters, all the way to future Trunks becoming a teenager. I'm pretty sure I'm not the only one who thought about Gohan's lack of power, even after 12 to 13 years had passed. In the timeline, Gohan didn't have the dream to be a scientist or even think about college, because at the time the androids showed up, Gohan was just a teen. So we all thought he had time to unlock at least Super Saiyan 2. But here's the catch. In the main timeline, Goku constantly pushed Gohan past his limits, from the hyperbolic time chamber to sparring at extreme levels. In the future timeline, Goku dies before the android threat even begins. So Gohan never gets that high-level training or the mindset that comes from sparring with his father. Also, without Piccolo, Gohan's combat style may have been more raw and less calculated. He essentially had to teach himself advanced battle tactics while fighting for his life. We also cannot forget that Future Gohan was in a constant survival cycle. Fight, hide, recover, fight again. This non-stop war left no time for the kind of intense, focused training the main timeline fighters got. And there's Gohan's role as Trunks' mentor. This meant he had to hold back in certain battles to ensure Trunks' survival. Even when fighting the androids, his mind wasn't purely on offense. He had to constantly think, if I go all out and lose, who will protect Trunks? This explained why he knocked Trunks unconscious before fighting the androids alone at the end. All of that to say, the death of everybody is not Gohan's fault. I mean, put yourself in his shoes. You're a descendant of a strong warrior race who can transform into Super Saiyan. And suddenly, without warning, two androids with the power to erase everybody, even the almighty Prince of Saiyans, show up and crash Super Saiyan power like nothing. And at the time, you're just a teenager, witnessing the death of everybody you love. We all know there's a higher power than Super Saiyan, but who said Future Gohan knew that? Even in the main timeline, Goku wasn't sure about Super Saiyan 2, until Gohan showed sparks of it in the hyperbolic time chamber. So there was no hope, all because of some AI, human-like robots. Honestly, I'm pretty sure 90% of you would have probably committed suicide. What about me? Oh, I have some ideas that might have fixed everything from the start. Now that we have the full story, let me tell you the possible, and I clearly say possible, outcomes that would have skipped the entire Android saga. First, let's rewind everything. Goku starts to get weaker and weaker from a heart attack. At the time, no medicine was known to cure this illness, but we all know a way to cure everything: the Dragon Balls. If Shenron could resurrect people from death itself, he might also be able to cure any virus Goku had. But at the time, our character didn't think of this solution. Throughout the whole anime until this point, they always relied on the Dragon Balls. So why stop now? They were purely stupid, if you want my opinion. Anyway, let's say Goku dies from the heart attack. If dying from a virus is considered a natural death, then Goku cannot be revived by any of the Dragon Balls. Farewell, Goku. Alright, so Goku dies, the android appears, and no one can even react. All the Z fighters join Goku in the afterlife, and only Gohan and Trunks are left, waiting their turn. A lot of fans speculated about the time chamber and how Gohan should have trained with Trunks there, but this is where Akira Toriyama pieced the story to perfection. In the future timeline, Piccolo never fuses with Kami, so Kami is still alive up to this point. That means we can kick Dende out of the story entirely. As we know, the android kills Piccolo, which automatically kills Kami, and the Dragon Ball with him. The only people who knew about the time chamber were Goku and Kami, both of whom died very early, so Gohan and Trunks never knew about the existence of the time chamber. Could Popo have called Gohan to tell him about it? Maybe, but this theory is really stretched to the point of being nearly impossible. Without the time chamber, Gohan would never achieve Super Saiyan 2, which literally explains why, like I said earlier, after all this time, he wasn't strong enough to beat the androids. So Gohan and Trunks never knew about the existence of the time chamber. Oh wait. So other than curing Goku with the Dragon Balls, what could Gohan, Trunks, and Bulma do? Well, it's actually pretty simple. We all know Bulma can create spaceships that can travel to other planets. So why didn't she use the same machine she used with Krillin and Gohan to go back to New Namek, use their Dragon Ball to revive everybody, and then think about a plan to kill the androids? I mean, with Vegeta, Piccolo, Trunks, and Gohan together, I'm pretty sure they could defeat them without even training. They could have revived Gohan's lost arm and unlocked his potential, or even give him a boost to defeat them. Come on, Gohan was very close to defeat Android 17 with only one arm, but nope, Bulma, the genius scientist, is apparently not actually a genius. Instead of going to the past, she could have easily gone to Namek, and it was obviously there. Why, Bulma? Why would you let me see my favorite character die in another timeline? I know you're probably mad that all the possible solutions rely on the Dragon Balls. I mean, duh. The whole anime is named after them, but these Dragon Balls are not the solution to everything. I feel like Akira Toriyama just thought it would be boring to always rely on the Dragon Balls. If you want a solution without using the Dragon Balls or going back to the past, I found exactly what you're looking for, my friend. Drum roll, please. Yup, that's right, Trunks. If Gohan had just remembered how Piccolo trained him as a kid and started training Trunks early on, exactly like Piccolo did with him, Trunks would have achieved Super Saiyan much earlier than what we saw. With another Super Saiyan by his side, very early, they could have trained together, pushed each other to become far stronger, and at least stood a fair chance against these androids. Plus, it would have been a nostalgic callback, but nope. I mean, I cannot blame Gohan on that. Like I said earlier, all this trauma really got all over his head, to the point to start imagining how Goku would have dealt with that. I'm pretty sure Toriyama thought about those outcomes, but preferred to go with the dramatic turn, which, in my opinion, created the introduction of the best saga ever in anime history. Period. At the end of the day, Future Gohan's story is one of the darkest and most tragic in all of Dragon Ball. It's a tale of a warrior who carried the weight of the entire world on his shoulders. With no backup, no Dragon Balls, no second chances. He fought until his very last breath, not for glory, but to give the next generation, Trunks, even the smallest chance at survival. Could things have been different? Sure, maybe Dragon Ball could have cured Goku, maybe they could have gone to New Namek, maybe the time chamber could have been used, maybe if Trunks have reached Super Saiyan earlier, the androids wouldn't have stood a chance. But Toriyama didn't write it that way, and maybe that's the point. Future Gohan's world wasn't meant to be saved. It was meant to show us what happens when the heroes lose, when hope dies, and when one man's sacrifice becomes the spark that changes history in another timeline. For me, that's what makes this timeline so powerful. It's bittersweet. We lost Gohan, but his death created the Trunks we know. The Trunks who would change the past and save Goku, Vegeta, Piccolo, and the rest. In a way, Future Gohan still saved the world, just not his own. Thank you everybody for watching. If you're watching this video up to this point, comment, "Oh, my left arm hurts. Is it there? Oh no, it's gone." How old am I, seriously? Don't forget to like and subscribe if you enjoyed the video so you won't miss any other stories or theories. I'm becoming more and more active on YouTube and experimenting with new formats. If you'd like to have a chat with me and connect, you can join the family on Discord. We chat and talk a lot about anime in general. And yeah, rip Future Gohan, we will never forget you, G.